All right, welcome into another version of Watching. This is a debut version of Watching. We're going to watch a kid make his Major League debut today. It is none other than JR Ritchie, very big prospect of the Atlanta Braves, drafted in the first round, 35th overall of the 2022 MLB June amateur draft. He's from Bainbridge High School in Bainbridge Island, Washington, so a Pacific Northwest guy. I mentioned he's a big prospect. He is the number 2 prospect in the Braves system. They give him a 55 fastball, 50 curveball, 55 slider, 50 changeup, 50 cutter, 50 control, overall 55. So a lot of 50 average, and they give him a little bit above average projected grade. So that's good to see. He's 6'2", 185, 22 years old. He made his debut today versus the Nationals. Here was the final line, as this game might have just ended. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Did get clipped for 2 home runs, so each are solo shots. Only threw a very efficient 89 pitches today. Now, going back to his minor league numbers, what he get called up on the strength of a very impressive early season performance at Gwinnett. AAA 3-1, .99 ERA through 5 starts, 27 1/3, only 15 hits. 13 walks, that's a little bit troubling, a little bit too many walks, but it's fine. He only walked 2 in his debut today. 28 strikeouts. Yeah, overall, he's been a really good pitcher in his career. In the minor leagues, in 52 career games, 51 starts, he has a .261 earned run average. Okay, what are we about to watch in terms of his pitch mix from his debut? Mr. JR Ritchie, 25 curveballs, 24 four-seamers, 19 changeups. Those are the 3 primaries. 10 sliders, 7 cutters, and even 4 sinkers. He averaged 94.4 today on this fastball versus the Nats. He got 24% whiff in this game. He did get 43% on curveballs, so you see why he favors the curveball so much. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitch mix. He threw 63% first pitch strikes today, which is nice. He garnered 29% chase, which is quality. Overall, 61% strikes, so I'm very curious to watch this guy get after it. And let's just get right into the video. First batter of his career, first pitch of his career, he gets taken deep by James Wood. So welcome to the big leagues. James Wood demolishes this ball for a home run. 102, actually got off the end a little bit, 102.4 at 32. And it's 1-0 Nats. And 1 pitch into this guy's major league career, he gives up a home run. So the fastball we see here is 93.5, above average spin rate, kind of a dead zone heater, to be honest with you. But we'll keep watching. All right, second batter, Garcia. First pitch, curveball. There's the curveball. There's the first metric we see on it, 82.6, negative 7.8 on the drop, negative 10 on the horizontal, so it's a 2-plane. Pretty big breaker in the low 80s. Ball 1 is going to get his first out on a changeup. It's a kick change for sure. Negative 4.1 on the vert. And when I'm talking about vert, that's how much you are forcing the ball to either perceive rise or to drop on the way to the plate. Induced vertical break means the portion that the pitcher is responsible for, not including gravity, which obviously is a constant. So negative 4.1 with a low spin rate of only 1574. That indicates to me a kick change, meaning he's spiking the change. Anyway, that's going to have good variance from the fastball. Comes in at 86.5, so about 9-ish miles an hour off his normal fastball, maybe 8. Anyway, gets his first career out on it right here on a changeup, even though it's up in the zone. Little chopper to Ozzie Albies, and there's 1 out. All right. Next up, Mr. Jose Tena takes a fastball away. Here comes a changeup. Pushes that away. 2-0 count. He did struggle a little bit with walks, but definitely not hits allowed. He was very hard to hit throughout his minor league career, and especially this year. And, yeah, I think that's kind of going to be the story with him. Good pitch mix, very tough guy to hit. I did watch him pitch 1 game in spring training. It was against the Blue Jays, and that bared out there as well. He threw some balls, but was tough to hit. All right, 2-2. Here comes the changeup, first career strikeout. Ooh, nasty. Look at this ball drop. So there it is, the first career punchy. I love it. Jose Tena's the victim. Negative 0.8 on the vert of that. And 2 outs. All right, we go to his third batter here. And we'll get going. This fourth batter here, this is going to be C.J. Abrams. This guy's been red hot to start the season. First pitch fastball, that's going to actually be a strike. They both go to challenge it. They are both correct, him and his catcher. So 0-1 count. Now we're going to go to a second four-seam here, 94.3. Velocity creeping up a little bit. Pulls it in for a ball. Here comes that curveball. We mentioned it was the primary pitch today. This one's -13, -13. So that's quite a bit of break. Not a crazy amount of spin rate on this curveball, only about 2,600, but the shape's certainly good. And then he's going to get CJ here with a changeup as he pops it up to left, and that's it for his first inning. 3 outs and a first pitch of the game home run. Let's get a look at the delivery from the side. Fairly traditional here. I'm not seeing a whole lot to break down. We'll go in slow motion. Little faux rocker step. Hips stay very level. Not seeing any funkiness whatsoever. This is what I would call a very standard delivery. Now he does get a nice drift in his initial move, and then there's the drop, rides the slope. Look how level the hips are. Incredibly level hips, so he's going to be able to rotate very smoothly. I think he's got good sequencing. Yep. Nice hip-shoulder separation. Big chest coming at you. And then a decent league leg block as well. So that is a look at the delivery from the side. We'll get one more peek at it, and then we'll head to the second inning. All right, inning number 2. First batter up. Jacob Young starts him with a slider. That's our first good look at the slider. -2 and 0. That's a gyro slider, but he did a nice job throwing that for strike 1. Let's see if that's the utility of this pitch, or if he uses it in some other ways as well. So first pitch slider for a strike goes right to that curveball now. Backs it up, and then he's going to get it out on a sinker. This is our first look at the sinker. 4.6 vert on the sinker and 16.3 to the arm side. That's actually a pretty good metric for a sinker. Not all that far off from what I threw, when I pitched. And he runs it in nicely and gets the ground out here from Young. Defensive wizard, but gets rolled over there and kind of beat there. All right, second batter of the inning. First pitch fastball coming here, called strike down in. Fastball coming in here again. Just misses above the zone, and then he's going to go right to the changeup. I think the changeup has great movement on it. I think this is a very solid pitch. Does give up a hit on it because he doesn't get it quite to the bottom or below the bottom of the zone. It's down and away, but pretty easy pitch to slash the other way. That's what the batter does. Lines it into left for a hit. So man on first, 1 out, and he's going to get a 1 pitch out here. 94.7 mile an hour fastball coming to Nasim Nunez. He actually hits this ball fairly solid, but right at Michael Harris. So 1 pitch and an out. This was the hardest hit ball yet. 1-0-2. Here's a pickoff attempt. Let's check that out. Pretty quick feet there from what I can tell. I like that move. That's promising. Nice little pickoff move. And then he's going to give up a first pitch hit to Vivas here on a curveball. As he swats that into right, Acuna collects it, fires to third, and he's going to have runners on the corners with 2 outs. And looks like they're going to benefit from a caught stealing here. Ooh, a little delayed steal. The Braves are going to play it very well. Dubon knows what to do with that. Riley chases him down, and he gets himself out of the inning with some poor baseball by the Nationals. On to the third, first pitch out coming here to Keibert Ruiz. It's a fastball at the top of the zone, and he pops it up. So first thing I'm noticing now, he doesn't have a great metric on his four-seam fastball. Nothing special there, especially considering that he looks kind of normal arm slot. So he's got some velocity, but I don't think he's going to be known for a truly special fastball. I think if we're looking for special stuff, we're looking at curveballs and changeups so far. So that's what he starts here. This is his second time facing James Wood. First time he got clipped for the homer on the fastball. Second time he goes curveball, then changeup, and gets him off the end of the bat just enough as he just misses this and flies it out to Acuna for the first out of the third. Maybe that's the second out of the third. So very efficient third going so far. Here's Garcia. Going to start him with that changeup. Strike. So, I like the sinker metric, which obviously he's not going to drive that versus lefties mostly. It's not going to be a primary. But against lefties, I think you're going to see a ton of curveballs and changeups. with some elevated heaters. He might go low in the zone early to set up the changeup, but I think that's going to be mostly the mix versus lefties is actually curveballs and changeups. Here's a curveball for a backdoor called strike 3. Very nicely executed there against Garcia, and he is out of the third. It's a nice pitch. He's got a nice curveball for sure. Curveball and changeup I'm high on so far. All right, on to the fourth.
How you doing right there?
CJ, right? CJ Abrams, here's the first look at the cutter. We hadn't seen that yet. Nope, not CJ. This is Tana, who was his first strikeout victim. 10.5 and 2.7. So he's got good velocity on it. I like 91.7 on the cutter. That's a good speed, but I don't think that we're looking at anything special with the cutter shape either. It has a little bit above average ride, but that's actually not even real cut, 2.7. So if anything, it's just perceived cut. Drops that in for a strike. Here comes a curveball. That's perfectly dotted. They're going to challenge and get that strike to go to 0-2, and then he's going to punch out Tana here with the fastball up. This is how he should use his fastball. Let me see the arm angle here. Okay, he's a little bit lower than I thought. He might be about 25, 26 degrees. I'm curious to see once we get that confirmed. But so there's a little bit of a VAA at play here. You can see this ball going uphill, gets above the barrel of Jose right here, and gets the strikeout. So that's strikeout number 3, second one of this batter. Now we're on to CJ Abrams. Going to start him with that cutter. Taking all the way, strike 1. Now to the fastball. You got to imagine up or up in. Target up in. Good location. Doesn't get the bite. Now he's going to go back to the cutter. Misses off in. I would guess changeup or curveball coming here. It is changeup. And he's going to give up a home run here to a very hot hitter, CJ Abrams. Very good swing on a changeup slightly below the zone when he hadn't seen one yet. But that ball's touched. 107 at 26 for CJ. I don't think he did anything wrong here. It's just a hot hitter. This is a good pitch. It's a little bit below the zone. If anything, he'd like to push it a little bit further away. But sometimes you just get beat. Throw a good pitch, and it's a better swing. All right. Next batter up here, one out in the fourth. In a 2-2 game is going to be Jacob Young. There is that sinker again. Gets it in there for a called strike. Now he's going to go to the curveball. I think sinker's a much bigger part of the puzzle versus the righties. Not a lot of righties in the lineup today, so you're not going to see a ton of it. But I think moving forward, the sinker might be the primary fastball, not the four-seam. So sinker strike 1, curveball strike 2, curveball for a ball. Now he's going to the right-on-right changeup. Pretty good pitch there. Tapped foul. Four-seam coming now. Let's see if they try to elevate. Middle of the way, fouls it away. That's his best velocity you've seen. That was 95.3. That's plenty. Curveball here. Good pitch. Trigger, but doesn't get the swing. And then he's going to get the strikeout on a called strike here on a curveball. So totally locks up Young on that curveball. He's got a really good curveball. I would say curveball, changeup are his most impressive pitches. And I like his sinker as well, and I like the general mix. But that's my early thoughts. Here is a hit on a cutter to a lefty. I don't like his cutter that much, but I say that about a lot of guys. You know, cutter's not my favorite. Anyway, gives up a nice line drive single there. And now he's going to get a first pitch out to end the fourth here to Nasim Nunez. So Nasim Nunez has seen 2 pitches. He hit them both towards the middle of the field, and he got out twice. Really nice play there by Dubon. As this ball just kind of beat him, I guess. 78 miles an hour off the bat. Is that jammed or off the end? I'm not sure. I'm going to guess off the end, so sort of a weird contact and a nice play there, and we are on to the 5th. Leading off the 5th inning is Vivas, who got a hit on a curveball the first time. He tries a first pitch, misses. Here comes a slider. Big old swing and a foul ball, and now right to the changeup off that pull action, which makes sense. Really good changeup there, rolls him foul. Now he's going to go four-seam elevate. Good location, doesn't get the trigger though. He's going to try it again. He says, I don't believe you, I'm trying it again. This time locates it at the very top of the zone, forces the swing and fouls it off. And now he's going to go to the curveball off of that. So I do think if he gets swing action up in the zone on fastball, ooh, that was a really good curveball out of that same tunnel. Look at the height the curveball starts at. Top of the zone. Where were the last 2 pitches? They were right here, right at the top of the zone. So he sells this one, top of the zone. This is why the high heater to the curveball combo is going to be so potent for this guy. It'll be the low heater to the changeup combo is the other potent little you know, back and forth that you're going to see. But this is great. You know, starts the curveball in the right spot, and it's dramatic. Vivas cannot hold up, and that's a punch out for Ritchie. All right, 2 outs in the 5th. Next batter here is Keibert Ruiz, who launches his bat in the stands on that first pitch slider. Second pitch curveball coming off of that. I do think he's going to work slider to curveball a lot, or cutter to slider to curveball a lot. So let's look out for that. There's a curveball dirt. He's going to stick with the curveball again to Keibert. Slices off of that, and it's a harmless pop-up to left. So Yastrzemski's got that. There's 2 outs in the 5th. So he just went slider, curveball, curveball to Keibert. All right, back to the top of the order, and James Wood, who has actually looked quite good in this series and in this at-bat, in this game so far. Four-seam up-away ball. Let's see how he attacks it. Four-seam in. Should have been a strike, but no challenge. So he falls immediately behind 2-0 to their best hitter. Him and CJ, they're both the best two. All right, 2-0 curveball. Drops it in back door. Very nice. Gets back in the count. Now he's going to try to heater him again. I think this time they definitely became determined to crowd him a little bit with the heater. Good attempt here. Almost a challenge. Good thing they didn't, because it's a little bit off the plate in. So now we're in a 3-1. He's going to go 3-1 curveball. It shows you the confidence he has in this pitch. I think this is his best pitch. Backdoor curveball dotted on the corner. James tries to challenge, but that's a strike. And now we're at 3-2. And now he's going to punch him with his best heater of the day. 97-2. Heater down. That's by far the best heater of the day. And it had a little more vertical break on it. 15.4. Another challenge. This time, the Braves challenge it. Drake Baldwin with a beautiful challenge. This ball flew out of his hand. So I want to watch this delivery from the side as he finishes the 5th inning here. Yeah, a little bit more intent on the last pitch, on the last finish of that pitch. Very nice to see. All right, 6th inning, because his pitch count was awesome in this game. He was very efficient. First pitch curveball to Garcia for a ball. Second pitch slider coming. And he's going to be under that. Pop that one up to center. Michael Harris is all over that. Can of corn, 1 out in the 6th. All right, here comes Tana. Punched him the first 2 times, so he tries to bunt. Goes after the changeup on the bunt, strike 1. Now he's going to go back to the changeup again. Love his changeup too. Runs that away for a ball. I think this is kind of what to expect from him. I think at his best, he'll be able to get some quick outs. He'll throw a lot of different pitch types, and he'll really lean on the curveball and changeup. All right, 1-2 curveball coming. Chris Sale looking on. Doesn't hit with that. And on 2-2, he's going to punch Tana for a 3rd time. This time with the changeup up away. So 2 outs here in the 6th. Nice pitch. And now we are back to CJ for a 3rd time. First pitch slider. Ooh, gets the chase on the first pitch slider. I like that. He has worked each guy a little differently here 3rd time through. Wood with more fastballs. I don't think CJ had seen a slider yet, so he goes slider to curveball. Very nice. And 4-seam in. He's using the inside corner a little more as well. Even though he doesn't hit there, now it's 2-1. 2-1 cutter coming. Not a fan of that pitch call, but it doesn't matter because it's a ball. And he's going to end up walking him on 3-1. So he felt it. CJ was on to him. Tried to mix up the usage there. Ultimately doesn't execute, and there's a walk. I think that's only the 2nd walk of the game, and I think that's where he finishes. So overall command wasn't a problem in this one. All right, Jacob Young. Here comes the sinker. This is really the only righty, so this is the only guy who's getting to see his good sinker. And that ball's fouled away. Here's another pickoff attempt. Let's take another look at that. Very quick feet. I like the pickoff. That's very important in this day and age if you're going to be a starter. You can't let them run all over you. There's a curveball down. And a good pickoff is a big part of that because it limits their lead size. All right, sinker up. That's no bueno. Looks like he's tiring a touch here. 2-1 going to the slider here. Very well located pitch. Gets it off the end, and we're at 2-2. Picked off again, and then a curveball to get the out here. This time Abrams is running. Gets the swing by Jacob Young. Riley with a nice play. And that is the 3rd out of the inning. He gets through the 6th, and he did go out for the 7th. So get a complete 7 innings in your debut, which is pretty dang awesome. Really good for this kid. First pitch, ball 1. Second pitch coming here. It's a cutter. So Lyle. And he fouls that away. I don't know if it's Lyle or Lele. I've been getting that wrong for a while. Anyway, 1-1. Another fastball here. Let's see if they continue to work the inside corner. Inside target misses away. 2-1. Another fastball coming here. This time he gets it in, but pulls it off the plate. Command's been a little wonky the last inning or so. And yep, there's the second walk. I was wrong. That's the second walk. I missed the first one. Well, I thought he had one earlier, but he didn't. That's the second walk. So a leadoff walk in the 7th. Normally you get pulled in this situation, but Walt sticks with him. And let's see how he works with it. Nasim Nunez. Force him away. He's got to pull it together. Let's see how he pulls it together here. There's a slider for a strike. That was a risky pitch. Getting to the changeup and the curveball. When in doubt, I would guess. Nice. There's a changeup for a strike. Now to the curveball. Pulls it in. And now he's going to go back to the changeup. Gets the chopper. Can they get 2? Albie's 1, and that's it. Changeup will get you on the ground. He's going to get a good amount of ground balls with that pitch. So man on first, 1 out. And it looks like he's going to get a double play to end his outing. First pitch slider fouled back by Vivas, and then I would imagine changeup. Yup, changeup's going to get the game, well, his outing-ending double play. Chopped to Riley, over to short. They fire to first. Double play. This is a very unconventional double play with a 5-6-3 here. You don't see this very often. Riley to short, fire to first, double play. I believe that was Mateo playing short there. But, man, he really rode the changeup and the curveball. That's it for his outing. Fantastic Major League debut. Got clipped twice by basically 2 All-Stars. Their best 2 hitters. But, man, he pitched really well. Curveball, changeup, the most impressive thing. I think what's interesting here is they stacked the lineup left-handed against him. You see, through 74 pitches against lefties, only 15 against righties. Those are all Jacob Young. So in the future, he'll face more righties. The sinker will become a bigger part of his game. To me, that's a much better fastball than his four-seam. But he located it pretty well up at times, was able to make it workable in this outing. Curveball and changeup are by far his best pitches. I like those pitches a lot. And you can tell by the amount of chase he garnered on the changeup, 60% chase on the changeup in this game. Very good pitch. Didn't have the best command of his curveball, but you can see why he goes to it. It's got a lot of bite in both directions. It's got above average amount of speed on it. And I like him, you know, pretty simple delivery. He's going to have to be a pitchability guy. He's got good stuff, but it's nothing crazy relative to the league. But I think that was a fun video. Fun to check out on the rookie. Braves have a new pitcher in tow. We'll see what Jeremy Hefner and company do to work with him, how he jives and learns from Schwellenbach. Carlos Carrasco is up there now. Chris Sale, of course. You know, Elder and all the others. And I wish nothing but the best for this kid. Congrats on his Major League debut, JR Ritchie. And thanks for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe and post it on a Reddit somewhere, maybe a Braves Reddit for your Braves fan friends in your life. And I'll catch you on the next video. It's probably going to be Connor Griffin. All right, thank you so much for hanging with me, and I'll see you on the next watching. All right, bye-bye.